Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Chris with the C. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for joining me today, guys. As you can see, we have got the Element Ecto on the table today, and for good reason, all right, because I have done a few changes and I'll go through them quickly. But the main thing we're looking at today is these tires and wheels combo that come with it. As much as these are decent, all right, the general grabbers tend to be good for sort of rocky areas and slightly more dusty areas where you can actually run them. You're obviously in Wales at the moment. It is winter and I am struggling a little bit with these tyres. They are getting quite compacted in the treads. So rather than actually damage the tyres, I could reuse these sort of in the summer when it's a little bit drier, and then obviously we can basically repurpose them then. So I've got two sets of tyres, one really for kind of wetter, kind of more dirtier conditions, and then obviously these for in the summer, which I could probably put on a set of Beadlocks. Now, since the last time you've seen the truck, I did make a few changes to the inside. Now, for good reason. I was given by a good friend of mine of the channel, Mr. Gareth Manning, a ESC. So as you notice, I've actually got a Hobbywing 1080 in there now, and I've also changed the servo, guys. So the 1080 will actually give me a little bit better low down control of the vehicle, and also I'm able to program it as well, whereas obviously I think it was a 1040 that came with the truck. And basically, I couldn't actually change too much up unless I purchased one of the Reedy programming cards. So yeah, Hobbywing 1080 is now in there. So thank you, Gareth. Obviously, as you can see, I've mounted it all up and hidden all the wiring behind the chassis. The battery tray there. The other thing to notice, guys, is I've installed the 11. Well, they say it's 12%, but it's 11 point something. Percent overdrive in the vehicle. Now what that actually means is the front wheels will actually turn a little bit faster than the rear. That's helping over obstacles and stuff like that. Just something that it was recommended to me by a few people, and I think, well, yeah, why not? We'll do that. I'm going to do a little bit of suspension tuning to the vehicle as well. The servo I actually repurposed out of my MT8. Now in there was a Reedy 15 kilogram servo, but this is actually a 25 kilograms, so we've obviously gone up another 10 kilograms on the servo as well, to just help it in sticky conditions. Now going back to the tires and the wheels, all right, as I mentioned, I have had a few issues with these, and what happens is basically the mud kind of sinks in between the tread pattern here. And then what happens is basically this surface then with a compacted mud just becomes a slippery surface. Now, I have actually purchased some Beadlocks, all right, and some tires. Now I've got these off AliExpress, guys. So what these essentially are copies. I say copies. If you look, high racks, all right. So they're 1.9 Beadlocks. So that's they actually class them as super swampers. So yeah, basically they're high racks pattern, guys. But as you can see, they've got a nice flat pattern on the tread and these raised edges on the side of the tire wall. So that should actually give me, and as you can see, it's not as compact. So the mud should be able to actually release itself. And plus the compound's quite soft as well. So I'm hoping they're going to be helpful. The other thing is with the Beadlocks, they do actually add some low down weight to the vehicle as well. So I'll just quickly show you what I've gone for. All right, so that's the Beadlocks I've actually gone for there. Nice titanium colour. Now, this, as I mentioned, this should actually give me a little bit of low down weight to the vehicle. And that's something I'm going to start looking at, all right, is basically just add in a little bit more weight low down to help the vehicle obviously stay planted, obviously when it's raising, the front end's raising up higher and or going down a slope. Just little bits and bobs as I'm going along. Now I'm going to pause the video 2 secs. I'm going to do a comparison what I mean by obviously adding weight to the vehicle. I've got some scales here. I'm going to show you the difference between these tyres and obviously the Beadlocks in grams on the actual scales a sec. So be right back. Right, okay, so we're back. Basically what I'm going to do is just zero out the scales. We're going to weigh now, obviously this is the standard wheel that comes with the Ecto. Alright, so we're just going to weigh that a sec. So it comes up at 174, is that right? 174 grams. Alright, so that's the weight there. Now, these with the foams are coming up at 163. So actually, to be honest with you, these are a little bit lighter. I was meant to be adding weight here, but they actually, grabbers seem to be a little bit heavier. Okay, well, I mean, I'm still gonna put them on anyway. I might actually use the foams out of these in here. I don't know, we'll see how it goes in a moment. But yeah, it does seem like the grabbers are actually a little bit heavier. Okay, that wasn't the plan, I'll be honest with you. So, yeah, 162. Okay, well, I know it's obviously going to provide me with a lot better grip anyway, so that's one thing. But I did think it actually had a bit of weight. So it is what it is. But what I'm going to do is just quickly set up the table a second, because I'm going to put the Beadlocks on. And yeah, basically the way you've got to do it is obviously release it like there. I'm going to be very careful about doing this. I'm going to be adding some thread lock on there as well, obviously, to keep it all together. But I do like the design on these anyway. So yeah, just change it up a little bit. Be right back. Right, okay, so for me to do this, by the looks on things, I'm going to need a 1.5mm hex driver, and also my handy dandy screwdriver. Nothing really special, guys. It cost me £15, but it does the job. I'm just going to release the beadlock itself, the outer ring. That's one. And that's two. Now, so that will actually allow me, as you can see, there's the inner ring to go inside the tyre. And then this pops in from the rear. And then obviously what you do is pop that on and then tighten it on. So just going to keep all my screws tidy a sec. As you can see, I've got a little bag. Got my usual ice cube tray to keep everything tidy. So I'm just going to, in fact, what I'll do a second is pop this bag open. I don't think I need to use the ice cube, to be honest. Pop out all my screws, like so. We just check. So they actually look like a larger 2mm driver anyway. Okay. So it is in two parts. Yeah, I'm not sure why they'd only add so many bits in there. But anyway, long short. Okay, so there isn't actually any pattern to the tread. So what I need to do now is pop this inside, like so. And the good thing is the tyre is nice and soft. I'm just going to hold that in like so, clip it over the bead. Whoop. Like that. And it keeps releasing itself, so that's not good. What I might do is from the rear by here actually, and then pop it back through. So yeah, I'll do it that way. Right, okay, just mold my tyre in like that, and then what we'll do is pop this over the tyre like so. There you go. Alright, and just make sure the tyre's all on there nicely. As you can see, that's clipped in there lovely at the back as well. And what we're going to do now is just carefully pop the bead lock on. Alright, like so. Is that the front or the rear? Let's have a look. Yeah, that's the rear. Okay, I'm just gonna go. What I'm gonna do now is basically just go in a pattern, left to right. So basically in a star pattern. All right, so I'm gonna start doing this. I'll put 1 or 2 in now just to show you, and then we'll put you on a time lapse and I'll put them all together. There's 1 in. Two in. 3. 4. Okay, so I've made a mistake actually looking at it. What I need to do is actually get that tread inside there. So, right, my mistake, just pop these screws back out. So the first time I've actually set a set of beadlocks. I want to say a massive thank you obviously to each and every one of you on the channel watching this video. As I mentioned previously, as I'm learning, fingers crossed you're kind of coming along for the ride. First time I've actually done anything like this before. I've never used beadlock, so this is interesting for me, to say the least. Right, so what I need to do by the looks on things is kind of manipulate that beadlock in, like so. I think what I'll do is maybe put the back on first. Yeah, put the back on first, like that. There you go. Clip that over. So it's on the wheel itself, as you can see. And then we'll concentrate on the front then. So it's quite thick actually. So what I need to do here is kind of get this beadlock to hold in there. Maybe I'll do the fronts first. Would that be a better idea for me? I think it probably would be actually. Right, I'm going to pause the video while I work this out and I'll come back to you and show you in a second. Right, okay, so what I had to do is actually, there's 2 screws on the back there. I don't know whether you can see that. Is split it and then keep this beadlock attached to the rim, push it in, and then push them together and actually tighten up the screws inside. So just going to quickly pop the screws in for that. That's 1, 2, and then there should be 2 more larger screws there, I believe. Yep, there's 1 there, and then 1 there, like so. So obviously that's now held together, as you can see. All right, and then I'm gonna just quickly put the hub nuts in. And then we'll concentrate on the outside as well then. But yeah, it's not quite as obvious as I thought it would be. But that is pure and simply down to me for the first time use really. But I picked these up, I think it was a grand total of, I think it was £30. Now if you consider the cost of these, if you're going to buy e.g. Proline tyres and I don't know, maybe like Enduro Beadlocks, or you know, some of the better known brands, it can become quite expensive. So I'm hoping that this will, let's just manipulate the foam about a little bit. I'm hoping that this will be a nice cheap alternative to an expensive addition to my crawler, if that makes sense. So right, just going to continue to go around now and actually put the screws in a second. So I'm going to put you on time lapse. Right, just to show you what I'm doing here. So basically, to release the rim, there's a 2.5mm screw at the back. Alright, two of them holding them in, that's the way they came, as you can see. Alright, and now take those screws away like so, and then the ring splits. Now, that ring goes on the inside first. Alright, like so. This is the way I worked it out, alright? So you don't want that actually gripping the tyre. You want it inside the tyre, and then form your tyre around it. Make sure your foams are all neat. You want the beadlock still on there. This is the way I've done it. That'll pop in. You can actually see the screw holes there, and then you line up your rear of your rim and just pop that into place. There you go. So that actually grips. Make sure that the tyre is sitting on the back of the rim properly, because otherwise it's going to be a bit wonky. There you go. And then just pop your 2.5mm screws back in, like so. Remember, obviously with this many screws, guys, to do it in a star pattern with each one. So you've got even pressure going on each screw. Not going in? Yes, it is, yeah. So there's one. There's two. Check your tyre on the outside by here now, as you can see. That's all okay, no issues there. And then proceed to put your other two screws in. Now, one thing to mention is they did come with extra screws, so that's kind of handy. I will keep them in a little baggie, you know, just in case I lose one of the outer screws, or one, you know, any of them basically. I'm not going to Loctite them all down, because the reason behind which is, with this many screws in there, they shouldn't really release any pressure. They shouldn't come loose in a hurry. The wheels are not turning at a fast rate or anything like that, so that's good. But what I am going to plan on doing is, with the weight difference between this tyre and this tyre, this is still actually a little bit heavier, not by much, but still a little bit. So what I might actually do for this is get the brass inserts for them to actually weight them a little bit when I start looking at weight, you know, basically how I can add more weight to the vehicle. Now, for anyone who isn't familiar with crawlers, I'm only just learning this now, and I will give a big shout out to a few guys actually who've been helping me along the way. Is you want to kind of keep all your centre. So Rue from Rue's RC Adventures, been an absolute wealth of knowledge. G Manning, Pantside, and also got his own little YouTube channel. Guys, I will put a link in the description to these people as well, by the way. Rue does tons of crawling videos. So does Gareth, to be fair, so he's only just started. So hey, look, show him some support. Get over there on both of them and chuck a like on the videos, and also subscribe to them, because that's what people did for me, guys. So you know, the least I can do is pay it back. But what I'm going to do here is just add the screws in loosely, and then we'll zip around them. I'm trying to find a quick way of doing this actually, because there's so many flipping screws. And then we'll tighten them all up with a electric screwdriver. But by doing them by hand, you're obviously knowing that you're not cross-threading anything before putting them in. Really do like the look of these actually. Very smart looking. I'm hoping that this tyre tread as well is actually going to improve things a fair amount for me. Like I said, when we were out recently, when we went up to Coed to do the last crawling video I did on the channel, I did notice that the wheels were a big factor in what's led me down on some of the climbs, and it's mainly because the dirt wasn't being released out of the tyre tread. Now, as I mentioned, grabbers are an excellent tyre, but the problem being is that tyre tread. Now, some people have said, you know, cut a pattern out with them. I was all right with doing that, but I thought to myself, right, for the sake of buying a set of cheap beadlocks and tyres, these are pretty much identical to Hyrax pattern as well. It was worth me having a little look and giving it a go, and I think the compound on these are nice and soft as well, so it should give me a bit better. The only thing I am concerned with is sidewalling. So basically what I mean by that is when the car turns and leans on its own weight, that this tyre isn't going to flex underneath itself. So I might have to look at some dual stage foams or maybe 3D printed foams to help with that. But I'll try it out first, because the Ecto is quite light. I'll see how it performs with these wheels on. They are, like I say, they are only a cheap alternative, so if I have to spend a few quid basically getting the performance I want out of them, well, so be it. I mean, at the end of the day, as you know, guys, on the channel, I do like to try and find upgrades. I'll make it as cheap as possible, really, because a lot of us don't really have that unlimited budget to spend on stuff. I know I certainly don't. And as time goes by and the climate we're in becomes more apparent day by day, we're all in the same boat. We have got this hobby. I'm internally grateful for the hobby because it keeps me sane. It's a change from day-to-day life, but if I can save a few bucks and keep it in my pocket towards days out with the family, I'm obviously going to do that. I hope you're all having a wonderful day out there as well, wherever, you know, whenever you watch this video. Christmas is coming. It's an hard time for everyone. Money wise, I mean, if you've got children like I have, it's an expensive process, guys. So children come first, hobby comes second. Then after Christmas I can start looking at new toys. Yay! But I think I'm having a set of MIP screwdrivers off the family, so that's going to be nice. Because I have been using these from day one. They were on eBay specials, £15. But yeah, they've done the job so far. To be fair, I'm just going to go around. That's fine. That's fine. Just run my finger over. Everything seems okay there. Just pop these screws in. I'll tell you what I will do as well, guys, if you want to, I'll put a link in the description to this on AliExpress so you can actually have a look and see which ones I've actually gone for. So that's another one done. Just manipulate my tyre around just to make sure my foams are all in the right place. But that's another one done there. So we've got 3 ready. I'm not going to bore you a second. I'm going to put you back on time lapse while I'm building the 4th, and then we'll put them on the truck and see what they look like. Right guys, so as you can see, all done, all popped onto the Ecto. A few things to mention. Obviously I did make the mistake initially of with the Beadlocks taking the outer ring off, but I actually found using the outer ring was a lot easier to centralize it and actually screwing from the rear. One of the things to mention, as I mentioned earlier, was the grabbers are actually a little bit heavier. I don't know whether that's down to the foam that's inside them, maybe, possibly. But we can play about with that anyway at a later date. And I am actually planning on getting some brass rings to go inside to actually weight the truck down a little bit. Now, really, I think the next thing for this, there is a little bumper mod that I can do. I think it's Big Sun on YouTube. Again, I'll put a link in the description. He mentioned that obviously this bumper can actually be tucked back by 10mm. I was talking to Gareth Manning, and basically we tried working out for ourselves, and I came across a video, and what happens is the faux winch comes out. Basically what you'll actually do there is take 10mm off the rail here, and the bumper will slide back using one screw, so that's nice. But yeah, I think it's actually got quite a nice little look going on there. The wheels and tyre combo with this kind of makes it look quite aggressive. The actual height of the wheel is actually a little bit taller on these new ones. Not massively, maybe a couple of mil if you actually look at it from, hold on, there you go. There you go, so the top of this tyre is actually just over the top. So a little bit extra clearance, not massive, but extra's good. One thing to mention, obviously, now the tyre pattern will not get as compacted as it did previously with the grabbers. The grabbers were absolute bloody nightmare, to be honest with you. As soon as they got in wet conditions and dirty, obviously this inner tread got compacted up. There wasn't anything other than run the tyres in water that I could do. I don't really want to damage the tyre because these are going to be handy for in the summer. But yeah, AliExpress, guys, I will put a link in the description. Again, I want to say a massive thank you to Gareth Manning of Pantside, also Ruse from RC Adventures, Ruse RC Adventures, for all the advice they've been giving me towards this truck. And yeah, fingers crossed now we'll start looking at other stuff. As I mentioned, probably look at some brass weights for the axles, the front hubs, anything that basically will keep the centre of gravity down low. A few little cheeky mods that won't cost me a penny. I'm going to move these rear shocks inwards so it actually lays down a bit more. But yeah, I think it's coming along great. I hope you're enjoying the videos, guys. I want to say a massive thank you, obviously, to each and every one of you for supporting the channel as well. Keep liking, keep subscribing, and keep sharing. And until next time, guys, absolutely stay awesome. I'll catch you later.